I have no idea if they call it this stream thing. That's just me. I've just invented it now.
Screen thing away.
But you'll see. All the 17 people who actually watch this may end up catching on, and it'll spread from there, you see. But, in that regard, we have started, so let's get on with the title sequence, shall we?
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Nerd.
Here comes the intro. Hello everybody. Thank you once again to Kevin MacLeod for allowing us to use the music, and to Gareth for actually putting the intro video together. And welcome back everybody to the further misadventures of the USS Navis. Okie dokie. So, first things first, it was brought up that somebody wants to do a little alteration to their character. And it was also mentioned on Discord not long ago, actually, about milestones, specifically spotlight milestones. So we'll get to talk about that in just a moment. So first things first, Alex, you said you had a tiny tweak that you wanted to make to Edwards.
I'd like to swap my geology focus for communications.
Which means that you are, let's see if I can find your notes, you're spending a minor milestone to do that?
Yes.
Awesome. People can see me altering it now. I use little notes, journal notes, to keep track of who has spent what, because not everybody has spent all of their milestones. So as we can see, Jonathan Edwards has now, as a character, has been in for 5 episodes with Alex helming him. And we've now just spent 1 milestone. So that means that, actually, Alex, you may as well do it now. You can swap a focus for another focus. So you may as well edit geology and just change the name.
Will it be communications technology or just
Communications will do. Unless you want to be specific with communications technology.
Communications for now, see how it rolls.
So there we are. So yes, minor milestones allow you to make minor changes to your character, swapping one thing for another thing. That tends to be how it works. You can also swap, I think it's an attribute, swap them around, swap the numbers around on a 1-for-1 basis. Kind of represents the small changes in focus that characters experience
Have you already knocked off
episode and again
the minor one?
So, if you go to the journal entries area, you'll see the character notes folder.
Oh, you've put the one use already.
So, yeah, on top of everybody's character notes, I tend to keep a track of how many episodes that you've been present for, and how many milestones that it's incurred as a result, and how many you've used. So we can keep a nice little track. Now, it was mentioned by Sean that we haven't done any spotlight milestones, and there's actually... think of the ad revenue. Thank you. Okay. So, internet isn't the best again, would probably crash out. I'll catch it on YouTube later. Oh dear me, does that mean that we don't have a Webby tonight? Or are you going to see how it goes?
You have
think
me.
you-
It's just typing.
I think he was joking about catching Jonathan Edwards' character sheet.
Thank God, because I thought we were going to be down another character.
As I say, he's come to us. He come to us from Germany, but Great Yarmouth is the one that's doing him in.
No, right, yes, Spotlight milestones. For those who don't know, for those who are watching, all 17 of you, if you are watching, thank you.
Prone.
Star Trek Adventures uses milestones as a means of kind of tracking experience, even though it's not necessarily experience. But anyway, you can make character changes based on how many and what type of milestones you've got. Now, in the rules as written, you've got minor milestones, spotlight milestones, and then major milestones. So minor milestones are just the little bits that happen in between every episode. A spotlight milestone would be to do with an episode that's centric on one character, just like an episode out of one of the original TV series is. Whereas a major milestone would represent more of an arc for a character. Now, because I'm using, for the most part, pre-written episodes that the guys at Modiphius have already done, I didn't really want to do spotlight episodes because I wanted to focus more on the team, the whole lot of you. If, of course, you guys would rather start doing episodes where a single character is more centric, then, we can talk about that and we can start winding them in. But for the moment, that's how I'm proceeding, is that I'm not having spotlight episodes and therefore spotlight milestones in mind. Now, the rules as written have got it that spotlight milestones are kind of used as, if you have 3 spotlight milestones, then you can get a major milestone. And that means that you can make more permanent and bigger changes to not only yourself, but supporting characters and the ship. But early on, I addressed this with tweaking the milestone system somewhat so that we've got minor, medium, and large, minor, medium, and or small, medium, and large milestones instead. So every third episode is either going to be a medium milestone, or if we've already had a medium, then we have a large. And so the medium milestones are the equivalent of a spotlight milestone, and the large milestones are the equivalent of the major milestones. So they equate to more or less the same thing, because the rules suggest that after so many regular episodes you get a spotlight episode, and you get so many spotlight episodes to get a major. So we've kind of done a bit of a wiggle around for that. So that's what we're doing currently. However, if folks do want to change that, then I am, of course, open to being flexible. So I suppose it entirely depends on how well people are liking the milestone system as we're currently using it, or if they want to switch to something else. So, I don't know. Maybe we can table that for the moment. But
My current vote is ambivalent, so I'm not fussed.
But I hope that answered your question, Sean.
Uh-huh.
Spotlight on Lieutenant Commander Replicator. Yes. Now,
Depends till you get that cheese sandwich.
this, of course, brings us to the next little bit of note, because stuff has happened in between episodes. Mostly on Discord over the course of the last couple of weeks. Insofar as after the last episode, we had Admiral Stoker, of course, leading the crew out on another mission to do with finding more evidence of this alien civilization that seems to have left a lot of stuff around in the Shackleton Expanse that Stoker is very focused on finding. But the actual captain of the Navis is still absent. And as a result, Admiral April Hebert, who is the lady in charge of the starbase that the Navis is currently based out of, she has been forced to pretty much bench the Navis for the time being, using a sporting parlance, which I don't do that often. So note it down in your diary, folks. I actually used a sports ball reference.
I personally think benching the Navis at this point is an own goal.
Whoa.
Please don't say you were starting with puns tonight again.
So, because there's no captain for the Navis currently, Admiral Hebert is forcing the Navis to pretty much stay in the local vicinity of Narendra Station, since if they've got no captain, they've got no senior officer, at the tip top of the command pyramid, and they can't really have a commander being the captain until she's actually earned being a captain. And with the whole thing with the Dominion at the moment, Starfleet is actually running a little short on captains. Starfleet has been promoting a lot of people before they might be necessarily ready for the role, and Hebert is...
Captain Nova, better captain.
So Admiral Hebert at the moment is against preemptive promotion of anybody. So the Navis has been pretty much in the time period between last episode and the start of this one. They've just been doing small jobs, little investigative scientific things that are at least near to Narendra Station, so they don't have to go too far.
Speaking of which, do we go into the research bit?
We will do in just a sec. I just have one other piece of information that needs to be shared at this point. Hang on a second. I've lost connection to the server.
You're back.
Establish. I'm back. Okay, let me quickly confirm that. Yep, I got a character. Things occasionally blink in, blink out. One thing that does need noting, as far as the timeline of what's going on in Star Trek, timeline outside of what's happening to the Navis, let me see, where are we? What star date are we at? Ah, yes. So, 10 days after the events of the previous episode, the Dominion let off a bomb during a high-level diplomatic conference between the Federation and the Romulans on Earth. So that happened 10 days after the end of the last episode in the timeline. And we are...
Paranoia is going to be up a bit.
And in that time, a month has actually elapsed between the end of the last episode and the start of this one, where we do get started properly. So that you've got that clear in your heads. So you will have heard, the news will have filtered down the gossip vine, that apparently, not long after the bombing, one of Starfleet's top admirals basically tried staging a coup, where in the name of security, he got the Federation president to sign off on all of these security measures, effectively putting Starfleet in charge of the Federation, or at the very least Earth, briefly. But that was thwarted, thankfully, by Captain Benjamin Sisko before things went a little too far. That admiral has since been fired and been charged with treason. So, And he did it all because he was trying to protect the Federation from the Dominion threat. So there we go.
So the commander's abdicated for the shoot.
Well, back here, that hasn't meant much difference to yourselves. However, as has rightly been pointed out, we now have scientific experiments to find out how they actually went. So, just to get us back on that, let's see. The first one we started with was, of course, Nova's. Actually, no, we always start off with Bertram's. Pardon me. We always start off with Bertram, because Bertram started his first. The radiation curing plant.
Yep.
So, as has been stated before, we're using the rules for the scientific method to guide us on how long-term projects go in the game. So the doc has been so far tried regular old botany as a method of trying to create this amalgam of this energy draining moss and the radiation absorptive plant life that he found in 2 various different planets. But botany, pardon me, wasn't the way to go. Didn't quite get the results he wanted. We then went for xenobiology. Similar kind of results, got it wrong. Has now switched to genetics as a means of actually getting in there and manipulating the genetics of the plants themselves. So we'd made some progress on this.
Yep.
So let's see if we make any more. So I suppose the first thing is there going to be anybody helping the doc? Like his assistant, Nurse Bravo, for instance.
Yeah. I didn't want to put Nurse Bravo in before the PCs had a chance to leap in.
Well, you know.
But I get the feeling that I probably bore them to death with one too many plant lectures.
Or you push them to the point where they've converted.
Well, you know, ordinarily, if John were with us, I'm sure he'd say that Natala would be very interested since she is the chief science officer. But I think, considering that Nova's science project is also due an update today, Natala would much rather ride Mum, as in not ride Mum, but ride as Mum. Pardon me. Let me get that quite right before I get censored. Because she wants to make sure that Nova doesn't do anything silly. So, in that regard, if anyone else does want to get on board that they're not going to do their own scientific thing, then now's the time to yes, indeed. Now's the time to basically put yourselves in for help, for helping this. So, going once, going twice. Okay, so...
Sold to Nurse Bravo.
Webby, do you want to be Nurse Bravo for this? Just take control of Bravo.
Yeah, if you want. We're Bravo.
Yep, since
we are Bravo.
Since Sean is going to be getting a chance to do something soon, and I'm guessing that Alex and Davis are going to be starting their new project today too.
Yes.
So we'll get to that in a few moments. But first, Dr. Bertram's scientific experiment. So, let me just put on some background ambience here. Okay, so, with Nurse Bravo, we are, well, reason plus medicine or reason plus science would seem reasonable to me. But none of the focuses for Nurse Bravo really apply. So it'll just be helping anyway.
Yep, I'm going to be throwing in a point of determination.
As usual.
Because this focuses right in his obsessions.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so
the difficulty is still 3 for this. So if we can get Webby to do Nurse Bravo's 1 dice of assistance first, unless you want to buy... Well, you don't have any momentum to buy with, so I was going to say. Unless you want this to succeed at cost, he says, steepling his fingers menacingly.
No. First rule of science is no matter how obsessive you are, you don't take shortcuts.
All right,
First rule of science was don't lick it.
No, that's the first rule of science by
How else
Nova.
are you going to discover sugar alternatives if you don't lick it?
Yeah, and it's also that surely that doesn't work with Geology Club. First rule of Geology Club is lick it.
It was also how it
Second
opens
rule of
barrels.
Geology Club is know which one's a rock and which one's a dog turd that's been there too long.
And on that happy note,
What role would you like from Nurse Bravo?
could we please maybe get, let me see, reason plus medicine would make sense here, I think.
Virology is a foci to support on this.
You're not using virology, you're using genetics, so technically you could use a virus to break open a thing, but I'm going to go with no. Not by this point. We're actually getting in and manipulating the genetics of the plants here, so it's just going to be a flat-out assistant. Oh, dearie me!
Right,
Someone's
so,
going to have to take notes for the roles tonight.
Hold up.
I'll tell you what, if the ship is taken over by a gigantic mutant moss, it's Nurse Bravo's fault.
Told you, you're making Triffids.
Okay.
And then,
Because we're doing this with a scientific method, I am going to say that that complication will nullify a success. So it's even more imperative that... Holy Moses!
well, somebody has
Wow.
to pick up Nurse Bravo's slack, don't they?
Not only did you pick up the slack, you boxed it and sent it off to Starfleet Medical with a little bow tied around it. 6 successes, so that's actually 5 successes, so you got 2 over what you needed, buying 2 momentum, and that's 5 successes, which means I wanted a certain number of successes before the project was successfully finished. We have reached the end of this particular track using genetics, and it turns out it was the right one to do.
Yay!
You gain successful results with your tests. You managed to successfully create an amalgam moss that absorbs radiation. Congratulations, Doctor, you've done it.
Woohoo! They called me mad at botany school. Well, who's mad now?
So,
Pretty much still.
meanwhile in the other lab, we're playing with Sonics and pointing them at the doctor's lab.
That's how we made him more insane. Gotcha.
Well,
No,
yes.
it's the one of, you
It's like-
succeeded! We accidentally destroyed your experiment, sorry.
Oh, I thought we'd fine-tune the frequency for humans. It's like, wrong emotion. Tweak it down.
We found the brown note.
So what we've got now is an actual, provable, successful result. You know, you can duplicate it, and you can send this away to your colleagues, and they can try the same thing, and they'll duplicate it, and they'll have the same level of success. So you've now created a plant that has life-saving applications. So,
Excellent.
over the next couple of years, you could probably expect to see these cultivations of these specific types of hybrid moss start to appear in controlled doses in controlled environments in various ships and medical stations.
Yay! And I'll be famous.
Even though he's Dr. Bertram's got several awards to him already, this one will get a lot of notice.
Someone gets his own comic. The Adventures of Dr. Moss.
So yeah, Starfleet Science, Starfleet Medical, Federation Science are gonna be very interested in this.
Yep. Got to keep them remembering that I'm a genius.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, fair dues. That was one heck of a success. You know,
Yeah.
blew it out of the water there.
Imagine with that determination, he literally does do the whole sort of like stereotypical scientist thing of, you know, this is my obsession, you know, must do this. Science, not quite the Rani, but still.
Well, no, you know, it very much speaks to Bertram's determination and his values to see the work done. So I very much picture, you know, a lot of late nights, staying up when he should be getting rest, and it's nope, got to keep on working on this. And so, what with the Navis being sidelined, Bertram has, of course, found he's had a lot more time to dedicate to this kind of thing, and it's obviously paid off. So, well done.
Yep.
You now have that as something that can be used from here on in.
So now comes the most fun step, naming it. I can't name it Bertram
Wow.
Moss because I named the original energy-eating moss Bertram Moss. So
What
Yeah,
about Craig?
We're gonna have to give it a name, something.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe that's what the complication was.
yeah, did you say Craig Edwards? Right. Commander Andrews, I wish to put forward a motion. From now on, Jonathan Edwards is not allowed to name any discoveries on board the ship.
That's perfectly nice, Doctor. I see justification for your request.
You are made of stupid. To quote a good Uncle George. Right, which means that we now go on to our second piece of scientific exploration. We are going with Nova's universal interface for the alien computer core. Now, let me see. You tried your technological experimentation method at first, but weren't getting the successes with it that you thought you might, so you didn't complete the full path of following that to its end. You instead jumped over to computer engineering, which is what we're doing now. So, again, this is difficulty 3, so it's whatever Nova wants to try and use and justify to me to get this finished, and if anybody wants to help, they are certainly allowed to. Unless, of course, they're saving themselves for their own personal projects. I think we at least agreed that Natala would help with this. So maybe Jan can jump in and take control of Natala.
Yeah, I think I've been recruiting one of the Bravos as well as like a tuning foot to assist with the empathy and telepathy, because I know the computer core potentially has a reading for that as well.
So it might be best to maybe bring in the engineer, Bravo.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know, it's up to you. Did you have a specific Bravo in mind, or any single one of them will do?
It's the first one she found in the corridor.
Grabs him by the ear. Hey, you!
It's got security Bravo there instead.
Well, if it was security Bravo, we'd probably have her in a hammerlock before she realised what was happening, but let's go with Natala assisting with the science side of things, and Bravo, the engineer, what's his name again? Ikran, can just help with seeing if there's any result with the... Because you're looking to see if you can awaken a consciousness within the thing, perhaps? The computer core?
Yeah, I think that's what should count as definite success of communication with it. So.
Okay, cool. So, if I can get Jan to assist as Natala, and we're going to be using reason and science seems reasonable. Anything, maybe Starfleet safety protocols might be a good focus to use here. So that would be a good one. Again, difficulty 3 for this. So Nova, you're doing daring and engineering, daring and science.
I think daring in science.
Alrighty.
It quite literally probably would be throwing all the safety protocols out the window that she can.
Which is why Natala's there to put those to pick up those safety protocols and bring them back indoors.
It's also why Vipers is not in the room.
What was that, Jan? Sorry.
At least the minimum protocols.
Well, yeah. So, if we can get Jan to roll that, one success already, so there you go, bit of the pressure taken off. If Nova can now get 2, let's see how well you do. 1 success. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Still got Bravo.
Using computer engineering, you finally managed to create a bit of software that interacts with the hardware that you've created in order to essentially act as the middle ground between the CPU and the actual peripherals, the connectors. And after a good bit of tinkering, it's as ready as it's ever going to be. So, at this point, the only thing left to do is to plug the thing in and see if it actually works. Now, Natala will more than likely be very, very, very keen
Hello?
He has done something to the AI. Honest.
Matt?
Me then, was it?
That's Matt.
Apparently Natara was keen, and then our GM has turned into a razor.
Now I'm in charge.
Stroke then for a second. I was just like, I
Oh, you
smell
were.
burn-
It's
I
not related.
could hear that, like I smell burning. I started checking my computer, then the thing went. I was like, oh, this is. Oh, my computer's not.
Nope.
Oh,
Still gone.
Yeah, Matt, you definitely not me.
May I put pause on this? I'm tempted to check out the stream, see what's going on. No, we just hear a loud buzzing sound. Can you hear us? I'm looking at a stream, you're not coming through on that. The only sound is a loud buzzing sound on the stream. May have to restart. Oh, that's better. Sorry, I just muted him and paused the stream. I was like, damn it,
Got louder.
Ah!
Got
It's
louder.
attacking!
I was
The
like,
wasps have won!
oh no, no, this.
Our wasp overlord!
I just realised something ironic. This is our bloody stunner idea. Sonic stunner.
That is a point!
It's the ghost flute.
Alex? Sorry. Edward, you know you're not supposed to hard
Testing.
skill this, right?
testing, 1, 2.
Blurring.
Testing,
Yeah,
testing.
you stop
1, 2.
worrying.
Oh,
We can hear you. I can hear you on the stream.
I
Awesome.
can't hear him in Discord.
You
No.
can't hear me on Discord. Let's have a look. Voice mod. Checking. Nope, I'm not coming through, am I?
Tonight's game is sponsored by the bees. The bees. I'm covered in bees.
Not the base.
Testing.
Oh,
No.
we just heard you. Well, I did.
I had the stream go, so I don't know. Say it again.
Yes, you are coming through, man.
There we are. Yeah. The forge. Voice is coming through, just no visuals apart from you in the corner and the little bit on the side. There we are.
Today's game is brought to you by Technical Difficulties, our usual sponsor.
We just need a picture of sort of like the Navis crashed into an asteroid, and it's just sort of like the music is just like dun 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 dun.
Like, please stand by. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, just the picture of the little girl with the clown and the blackboard.
Oh god, I can't think of that without seeing the
Checking.
well, not the Mitchell and Webb one where it's like, don't go
Remain
outdoors.
indoors,
Yeah.
inside.
Oh, those got so dark. Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Just keep talking, just keep talking.
Nope,
What do
no
you
sound.
do? Talk.
No, you're still mute
That's
on the
interesting.
stream.
I'm coming through. You're not coming through.
Everyone except you seems to be coming through.
Yeah, you're not. You can see your lips
They can hear
moving,
you
and
on
they can hear me, and hear you in Discord.
Wow. The ventriloquism act is doing really well.
How about now? Am I coming through now?
No.
Well, you know, it's behind a little bit.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Right, so what happened there is that the voice modulator software I use, VoiceMod, is usually used to pipe my voice into the stream, and I was about to use it to change my voice into something funky, but it seems that VoiceMod fell over. So I won't be able to use that tonight, but there we are. As such, I've had to just change quickly the sound settings on the stream and on Discord so that everybody hopefully can now hear me. So if people can confirm that the stream is actually hearing me now, that would be great. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. Because if I do, you're going to hear echoes. So I'm just going to sit here like an idiot and keep chatting.
Yep, all good. I can hear you. You said just go lovely.
I couldn't be more Welsh if I tried. Anywho.
Matt, in your absence, Natala hit Bravo on the back of the head. And, he finally made his contribution.
You could have had a horse. Oh, see, you could have had a horse skull next to you, telling Glimerick to get food. That's fairly Welsh.
Well, getting back to what we were doing. Yes, you managed to finally get the code ready, and you turn the thing on. You plug it into a station, but everybody except Nova pretty much says that you should really consider if you're going to plug this thing into anything, it should really be into a secured data terminal so that anything that's in that computer core can't access anything of the ship.
Lieutenant Replicator volunteers.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Yeah, cool. So, you power it up, and unfortunately I don't have a voice effect to do this, and neither Bravo nor Nova sense a mind or emotions. However, you do get a response that comes up on the screen. It reads, "This unit is ready for input." Error. This unit is not connected to peripherals. Error. This unit is failing to recognize peripherals associated with it. Awaiting command. It seems you've managed to succeed.
What times?
You
I
have.
suppose
Yep, go on.
typical Star Trek commander, engage.
What will this unit engage? Is the reply you get.
A willing couple.
I mean, this is Nova. She's just going to reply anything it wants.
Um,
Oh dear.
Bravo, why is the main computer asking for permission to marry someone?
Thankfully, this isn't the main computer. This is just the response that Nova is getting on the data terminal that's currently connected to the alien computer core. So basically, you've succeeded. You've accessed the computer core, and it is responding. It just seems a little bit,
Confused.
well, in
That would
computer
be a good
terms, yes.
time. Security Bravo walks past and is like, Lieutenant, perhaps we should stop this.
So, coolies.
No matter what I press, it just says death.
TNK for death.
Uh,
Tough, we're out of the cake.
I'll have to trifle then.
Your choice is or death.
I suppose
I
try
think-
output information.
Well, what you basically get eventually after a bit of idle time, it's not going to be Nova saying this, but this is the response you get up on screen.
It wants your cheese sandwich.
So,
Designation is Hell Zero.
It's called Hello.
God, hello.
I thought it was Hell Zero.
Hell Zero.
That's after it's talked to Nova for a week.
if it's talked to Nova for a week, you might need to get it a computer therapist. But there we are. We will see. So yeah, you've succeeded. You've accessed the computer core, and it is now responding. Well done. You have managed to also successfully create a universal interface. Although it is a bit of a mess at the moment. This is the working prototype now. You've succeeded in what you wanted, but like I noted before, this is like a base connector connected to this crystalline computer matrix. But it's all these different peripheral connectors are just at the moment a load of different wires all snaking in from the bottom of this thing. So it's a bit your console's a bit untidy. There's wires snaking everywhere. But yeah, you've succeeded. Well done. So now I suppose we have to move on to at the risk of not getting this started yet, we have one more project that needs to now be started. So Vibers and Edwards are trying to create some kind of sonic stun cannon or something?
Handheld, so basically non-lethal incapacitation for do basically wide burst. So basically, rather than on an individual level like a phase or something else, you could hit a group at the same time, and it could basically go from there. It would be an adaptation of the Ghost Flu, because basically the idea was for when they were just plugging it into a comms channel with the Ferengi. So the idea of just they're very sensitive to it, but every species has that point of this could incapacitate someone from loud noise. So it'd be basically trying to make it with as many settings as possible to basically switch it to whichever species and be able to just stun those in a group.
So it's essentially a riot gun.
Sort of.
But you have to tune it.
Which is why the linguistics sets in, because based off a language, each individual spatial language, they'd be able to tell which kind of pitches and frequencies it would go on to based off how they speak. So you'd be able to fine-tune to the point of that zone where it actually incapacitate or at least disrupt without causing too much of a sensory overload. We'd also be able to pick out potentially individuals if we had to, or am I thinking too much into this?
No, ignore the sensory overload because that's the whole thing it does.
Oh, sorry. Oh, in that case, yeah. Have my voice of reason for shaping my ideas when I'm getting a bit too out there.
So yeah, We fire it at a group, and we can target it. We're aiming to make something that can be targeted at specific races on the fly. That we can then use as a knockout or incapacitation without being lethal.
Edwards doesn't like phases. He doesn't. That's why I've never really tried to use it. I think because he doesn't fight. So what would he be able to use that he would actually sit well with his conscience? And a phaser seems too much like a gun, but this is something it's more it can sit with, and it can be used by other people. And I said, it also be able to hit multiple people without having to be too fiddly.
Anybody else want to get in on this action then, or is it just Vipers and Edwards? Just Vipers and Edwards then. Okay. Well, as noted previously, the way we go about creating a project like this is that you can identify between 3 and 5 different focuses to be used as hypotheses, and those will be used as a means of trying to pursue the research in order to get at the end result. So, which 3 to 5 focuses do you think are applicable here? And this could be open to the whole group.
Xenolinguistics most definitely, because that would be the basis of finding the pitch.
There's something to be said for xenolinguistics, certainly, so okay.
That's out of the ones that Edwards has. I think that's sort of potentially communications.
Yeah, in some ways, a language can give you an idea as to whether or not a species uses, like ultrasonic, infrasonic things that are slightly outside of.
That was part of the thinking of it,
and as such, they'll have sensory organs to, sense those. So okay,
based on the language and how a species talks and communicates, you can identify how they actually generally speak. Like from just my own voice now, you can be able to tell on average maybe the human how a certain pitch and how high it could go or how low it can go, or just as from the sample group of everyone in this chat, and be able to work out okay, so it potentially could go up to this or potentially could go down to this.
Well, hang on, I'm just getting the fact that Andrews and Thazanan are talking about engaging slipstream technology. That's a bit of a ways out from the actual beta timeline, but okay.
Also vaguely goes with Edwards' talents of unconventional thinking for the scientific process.
Good point. So is absolutely.
My point out that if you want to do auditory, you want to do system overload, is that you need to look at acoustics rather than thinking of linguistics, etc., because it's a frequency. Just pointing out the scientific kind of approach and how you would do this is you want something that generates a audible signal that affects specific identities rather than looking at the actual language structure.
Yes,
because it's harmonics. It's inner ear harmonics that will actually cause the...
What it's looking to do is actually use the linguistics to identify, from the languages spoken and how they work, identify what those frequencies might be when we don't have their biology.
Thank you. It's basically using what Edwards could grasp, which is why and potentially the one he swapped, which is communications.
Okay, so with that, is that the human ear can't hear below 20 hertz. But if you actually want to, it's done on air pressure that actually causes you to suffer from consequences of that. So it's air pressure that causes you to be in pain rather than the frequency. Frequency does help.
But, linguistics is a potential avenue to go down.
Yeah.
What about suggesting other ones? Maybe acoustics as maybe just.
Because they don't have those foci though. That's the thing. You thought we had to pick out what we had. So
you don't have to pick out what you have.
I thought we had to out of our own repertoire.
It makes sense to choose things that you have. Otherwise,
Let's add acoustics and.
But bearing in mind, you're trying to make a sonic gun, basically, that's also a scanner, a bioscanner.
Yes.
So,
computers.
Okay, so that's 3 so far. Can anyone think of 2 more? I mean, is composure hold the line for the good of the Federation up there for any particular reason, or are people just clicking on their values?
Clicking on values.
Right.
I'm trying to avoid bringing in Mr. Bertram, mainly because Gareth has already been doing his own thing, and it feels a bit odd just to immediately steal him, because obviously biology would be something to put into it.
Let's put biology in. We're not skilled. We'll figure it out.
Does
Can't
that
be that
assume
hard.
because I was essentially doing another project that Bertram wouldn't be available for this project?
That as well.
But that's finished now, and this is talking about starting another one. Sorry, I talked
Oh,
over
right, so
someone there.
potentially a future one. Yeah, it's like he'll be available for project in the future.
So far I've got xenolinguistics, or just plain old linguistics, acoustics, computers, biology. Got room for 1 more. As a suggested.
Do you have communication systems, Alex?
Well, that's the thing I was sort of like tweaking. Thing with that, if we have communications, it depends on how far you want to push that. The idea was, though, like this communication station being the use of that sort of thing.
Let's throw communications in as well. And the reason we want to throw that one in is because we're going to tie it into the universal translator for its diagnostic and picking up things.
Yeah, that works.
We're going to tune it by them saying hello in the woods, and suddenly our gun will knock them out and we point and fire it. If we're lucky. If we're really unlucky, it might only work on spaceships.
So technically, we already have a vague baseline from what we used the Ghost Flute to knock out Ferengi. We already have it vaguely set to something that can already hit their pitches, so we can sort of like work from that baseline.
So this is going to be a pretty complicated device. It needs to listen out for what people are saying, use that to analyze linguistics and harmonics, and then change the sonic gun's frequency or whatever.
That wasn't exactly what I was initially thinking, but I was thinking it'd be more preset frequencies after we've worked them out, so you could basically just select which frequency does what to what species. That was the initial idea.
Is that you would want, all you basically need is something that flies on a particular pitch.
And
that's all you
preset pitches.
Needs to be a burst rate, so then you just make sure that no one from the Federation, to make it as dirty as possible, no one from your side is in front of you when you fire it.
That's it. It's the ability to literally have preset switch to what species it'll affect. So it'd be, rather than analysing incoming ones, it'd be pre-programmed. It'd be the lot of the legwork will be finding those pitches, because we've already got something that can produce it. It's narrowing it down, putting it all into a handheld system that can basically switch.
But it'll need to be modifiable on the fly, just in case you come across someone that you need to incapacitate that you haven't met before. So there'll still need to be a fair amount of complexity going into that.
Yep.
Okay.
But we're in the future. What computing power did it? The stuff that was in my watch. It's fine.
I said, effectively, with the Ghost Flute, we could, I imagine, tweak that to do individuals. It's just, it'd probably be the idea of miniaturizing, well, I say miniaturizing it, but making it more handheld.
Okay.
Fine, worst case scenario, it comes to a backpack.
Well, what we've basically got is now a list of possible focuses to pursue. I will choose one of them to be the right way, and you guys basically choose a hypothesis to pursue, and then you can pursue it to the end of your experimentations, to the possible end of your experimentation, and see if it works or not. Or you can do what Sean did, and if it's not producing the results you expect, you can give up on one and try a different focus instead. So, this is a pretty complex device you're making, so I'm going to up the difficulty of this to 4. And I'm going to need you guys to choose one of the focuses you're going to use for your initial avenues of pursuit. So, just to reiterate, even though 2 of them do overlap, actually 3 of them overlap, xenolinguistics, acoustics, computers, biology, communications are the ones that have all been suggested. So which one are you trying first?
I'd be tempted to be acoustics, but I don't have any speciality into it.
Nobody does, but that's kind of the point and reason behind the scientific method. You got to learn it and then try it.
What do you think, Vibers?
Take your pick, and I'll
Already
support
has.
where we can.
Hey, you're the senior advisor on this. I'm asking for
Hey,
some input.
your project. I'm here to supply you with kit, boss.
All right.
Wow,
let's try
the
and
delegation is strong in this one.
Let's go. Let's start off with acoustics because that does make sense. Just
All right.
generally how reactor sounds. So
if you want to get any better at this will be another reason to spend a minor milestone at a later point, is to shift the focus from one of your other focuses into acoustics, so that you go bit. That reflects then the fact that Edwards has gone away and studied, or someone else has gone away and studied on acoustics in order to try and use it to accomplish this little project of yours. So quickly, let's give it a go. So
reason plus science.
reason plus science will do with me. Vibers, it's going to be a similar thing, either daring or reason or insight and science. If Vipers is helping, then Edwards is primary. So we're going to need Davis to do Vibers is one first, but it is difficulty 4.
Okay, reason and science.
Good, I have a momentum. Are we saving that already?
Up to the group. You alright with him spending momentum? No objections going once, no objections going twice. Alright,
Okay.
take it. Right, Vibers first. No successes.
I like this number.
You know, so this is just initial 3 successes. Okay.
Oh, so close.
Okay. So... Alright, neither of you know much about acoustics at the moment as far as this kind of avenue goes, so it's no surprise that you try a few things and don't get that far with it at first. But, of course, there's further room to study on for later. So, next time, beginning of another episode, you can choose to continue down the acoustics line or to shift to a different one entirely. For the moment, that was 3 successes, but difficulty 4. So there we go. Okay, so moving on. But at least we had 2 very successful scientific projects come to their end at long last, and both of them, accomplished what they were after. So that's really groovy. So we can now get stuck into the episode proper. So I'm just going to give us a little bit of a do-do-do-do as I throw this over to Webby to do a bit of reading. Can I get the Webmeister to read me that, please? I've just put it in Discord. If Webby is with us, can we have a Webby?
Yeah, no, I was just getting up the general chat. Stiff got on my phone.
Oh, beg your pardon. Do you want to put it on?
First Officer's Log, stardate 49227.6. Another month being sidelined, minimal charting duties. The Navis has been told to disembark Narendra Station on an urgent mission for rescue. With Captain DeCass still absent, Admiral Hebert is sending us an interim captain to lead our next mission. Myself and the senior staff are on our way to meet them now.
So we are now moving ourselves to the transporter room. And because it's the transporter room, Transporter Chief Latude is indeed there.
Agree.
And so, you're all assembled. The main crew, command crew are there, all assembled, waiting for the arrival of your interim captain. And Latude, your transporter chief, tells you that the other person is ready for transport. And here they come. Stepping onto the bridge is Captain Akul himself. Captain of the only Klingon ship that's currently posted to Narendra Station. Captain Akul has been a bit of a friend to the crew of the Navis. He is also an unusual Klingon, insofar as that he has confessed to the crew of the Navis that he is actually more of a scientist and more interested in science and such things than he is in battle, unlike his Klingon brethren. But he still makes no less an imposing figure in his full regalia as he steps off of the transporter pad. Commanders, lieutenants, it is agreeable to see you all once again. Permission to come aboard.
And because of it being cool, is that Andrews' physical resentment drops, and instead, very formally, in the traditional kind of Klingon greeting, etc., is that welcomes Captain Akul on board and that his request is granted.
Excellent. He pulls out a datapad, a Federation datapad at that. Here is the official transfer orders. I think you'll find everything satisfactory. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to be shown to my bridge now.
Of course, Captain.
So, let's shift this back to the bridge, as Andrews is definitely not in the captain's seat, as Captain Akul strides onto the bridge. Some of the junior officers who didn't know he was coming aboard are a bit shocked by this, especially with the fact that tensions with the Klingon Empire at the moment are at a bit of a high. So, to see a Klingon captain being offered as interim commanding officer of the Navis, a bit of a shock.
One thing, before we actually do allow him out of the transporter room, I would request that we do the blood screening.
Oh, absolutely.
Because one, it keeps our bit up, and it shows to the Klingons is that we are taking that seriously.
Excellent. Good idea. Okay, yep, so, I imagine then in that case that Dr. Bertram would have a blood testing kit all ready and waiting for when he beams aboard.
Yep.
Excellent. And it shows that Captain Akul is indeed who he appears to be.
Okay. I'll treat the results as I do normally.
Okay.
With contempt.
I'll treat you with contempt.
Operations of you as the last emergency supplies order come in.
My screen's just gone grey.
That's nice. Everybody else see the...
Just you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yep.
No, for the last emergency supplies order come in.
When you say emergency supplies, what are you asking
there we
about?
are.
Oh, the blood wine.
We just got a Klingon captain. We're still in range of the station. Stuff it. We need an extra crate.
Yeah, if you want to quickly,
Mr. Minoko to the bridge. Mr. Minoko to the bridge.
Urgent.
I don't think we need to worry. Mr. Minoko probably knew about this before we did.
He probably did, yeah.
You sensed it on the wind. Like, a disturbance. I need more booze.
Well, Captain Akul strides onto the bridge after the blood screening, of course, and he seems pretty satisfied at the security test. When he finally walks onto the bridge, he looks around a little bit, nods, and stands pretty much on the bridge facing everybody.
It's not my position.
Now, I understand how this will be a little strange for everybody here. Needless to say that Captain Ducasse and I became very much friends, comrades during our time on Narendra Station. I know her to be an honorable and capable woman and captain. Therefore, it is my honor to be asked to step in for her for this mission. Now, I know that tensions between the Klingon Empire and the Federation are high. But suffice to say that I am here because I wish to honor the woman who is your captain and my honored colleague. I requested this. However, I will understand if some of you harbor some suspicion of my motives. If any of the crew wish to voice such suspicion, I ask that they submit such to your executive officer. We will approach this as necessary. In the meantime, we have a mission to perform, and that mission is one of rescue. The USS Nightingale has apparently drifted into the neutral zone. As such, 2 hours ago, Starfleet received a distress signal from the Nightingale. The distress signal is as follows. I will put this up for everybody to read, but I will also read it for the point of people who are watching this app. So, the captain moves over to Mr. Edwards and hands him a data pad so that he can input transfer the communication that he has on the data pad to the main viewer. It shows a disheveled commander wearing a executive officer's pips on a badly damaged bridge, surrounded by chaos. And she speaks. This is Commander Alison Lewis of the Federation starship Nightingale. A navigational error has caused us to enter the neutral zone, and we have exchanged fire with a Romulan warbird. Captain Blake was killed in an attack, and we have lost main power. Warp drive is offline, and ship systems are down, but life support is good and holding. Repairs are underway, but we have lost most of our engineering crew. The Romulans are claiming we are now prisoners of war and insist they will take us to Romulus for trial once the ship is repaired. Their ship is repaired. We don't want to give in to their demands, but we also don't want to start another war. Starfleet, please advise. And the playback ends. Needless to say, we must be expedient in our response. Therefore, engineering, I expect us to be warp capable immediately. Helm.
Engine standing by.
As soon as we leave Narendra Station docking, I want you to set course 313 Mark 025, warp 9.
Yes.
Then execute your command.
Okay.
Leave Narendra Station, and as soon as it is safe to do so, engage warp engines. Execute.
Are we, as the Navis crew, are we going to do the emergency Narendra Station escape like we did last time? Or the doors are still opening.
That's entirely up to the Chief Helm Officer, I suppose.
An inevitable crash.
I think I'll make it just a steady, safe exit. Don't want to crash the ship with a new captain.
Boo, says no one.
While we're on the rescue mission.
Very well. So the ship manages to disembark, if that's the correct word, pull out of Narendra dock, and is then able to go into warp. So, very well. Our ETA at the Nightingale should be within 1 hour and 22 minutes. So, tactical, I expect a full accounting of this ship's weapons capabilities by the time we reach our destination. Chief Engineer, I expect this ship to be fully prepared and ready for any engagement we may encounter. Commander, I am not as familiar with Starfleet protocols as yourself. Therefore, if you ever feel that I am acting against such protocols, you are free to bring up such notice to me personally, that I may act upon this new information.
Of course, Captain.
Excellent.
Speaking frankly, Captain, is that your presence here is a breath of fresh air.
It is appreciated, Commander. So, since we have some time to kill, I was wondering if it would be possible for me to have a look at these new discoveries you have made recently. Captain Akul seems rather keen to have a look at the radiation moss and the universal interface.
Okay, so he wasn't on about the pyramids.
He wasn't on about the what, sorry?
All of the ancient technology and things.
Oh, no.
he's been doing.
Yeah. If he's discussing about ancient technology, then he might get pushed out there.
Already?
Not you too. Change the record? No. He really wants to look at the radiation-eating moss and the universal interface.
Never gladly show him.
So, looking at the universal interface, and I don't know whether or not Andrews or anyone else wants to accompany Captain Akul as he goes around to the science labs. That's entirely up to them. I'm pretty sure Natala would want to go.
Yeah, I think Natala would be better suited, is that Andrews would stay on the bridge.
And, Captain Akul spends most of the time gushing over the thing. Would you look at that? Looks like an Iconian squid.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Excellent. And this thing works, you tell me?
Yeah, you can talk to him.
Talk to it? You, make me a Raktajino.
It might need plugging into a replicator for them.
Ah.
Oh no.
Natala would jump in at that point, I'm pretty sure, and advise that it's still prototyping. We don't want to plug it into the main computer and Mr. Replicator just yet.
And here's your Raktajino, sir.
You just need to. I say you just need to get a replicator that's not plugged into the main ship.
Where did
Test
you
it
come
with
from,
that.
Vipers? You should be in engineering. You move between decks fast, man.
You just said engineer Bravo with it.
I just said bravo.
What was that, Sean?
Maybe would absolutely give a right grin at this point and say, by your wishes, Captain, would you like this plugging in?
And Natala is constantly going, no sir, no sir, no sir.
I think at the moment I will take it under the advisement of the Chief Science Officer. But he does lean over to Nova and whisper conspiratorially, "Keep me apprised as to this. This is interesting."
No problem.
Very well done, Lieutenant. Very well done. Now, there's something about moss that I'm supposed to look at.
I think that's next door.
Right. Looking at plants. This is exactly what I expected to be doing at this point. Still, science is science. Let's have a look, Doctor.
Okay. The doctor will be all too happy to show the test results and the studies and experiment notes from what he's dubbed Hyrolichin. So I decided to name it after the standard hyronalin drug,
Okay.
given it's an anti-radiation drug.
Captain Akul just kind of looks at the little clear case that the plant is currently germinating
Yep.
into. Gives it a couple of prods. And this thing, you say, can absorb radiation?
Yes, it's a hybrid moss based on some standard xenobiological genetics studies, combined with the genetics of a rather unusual moss that we found in an unusual cosmic event that had aggressively gained the ability to consume almost any type of energy to sustain itself. One of the biggest tricks was creating a strain that would aggressively go after any harmful radiation while not at all attacking the energy in the biological systems of any living person it was applied to as part of the treatment.
Remarkable. So you're saying in the future, when one of my idiot engineers manages to expose himself to too much warp core radiation, all I have to do is slap some moss on the fool?
It can be used as a preventative and as a way to dampen the damage that the radiation in the body is doing, as well as being an alternative used in certain environments where certain technologies normally used to replicate the drugs in a conventional way are impractical.
Impressive, Doctor. Most impressive.
Thank you very much, sir.
I imagine after the plant has removed the radiation from the body, it itself will need to be disposed of in a secure fashion, because the plant itself will then become fatally radioactive.
After there is a certain amount of leeway with time in that it doesn't immediately start radiating out. But yes, once it's absorbed the radiation, it should be removed.
A regrowable anti-radiation patch. Remarkable.
I'm glad you think so, sir.
As soon as tensions between our two governments calm, and I am optimistic they shall, then you really must send some of this data in my way so that I can prod the Klingon Science Council, such as they are, to start investigating such for our own sake.
I would be more than happy to, sir.
It's a shame, really. We Klingons have such a focus, warfare, combat. We practically destroyed our original homeworld by ripping up every single material component we could use for warfare and space. Of course, that's what resulted in the overmining of one of our moons and caused us to have to move our homeworld. My people are not exactly what you call forward-thinking.
I think if I may say so, the situation at the Render Station, the attempted integration such as it is between the Federation and Klingon, I think has potential to benefit both sides. But for as part of the Federation, while they've come up with many wonders and do work for peace, I have noted that in some occasions they tend to rely on technology almost to the exclusion of other potential solutions. I feel the Klingon spirit, if I may call it that, might be just a thing to shake certain members of the Federation out of the box that I think that they've sometimes got stuck in.
Captain Akul grins at this and just clamps a heavy hand on Bertram's shoulder. Gives it a very Klingon squeeze and a it's a comradely gesture, but Bertram does have to stop himself from wincing openly.
Yeah, there's a slightly strange smile on his face.
You do your people great service, Doctor. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm sure Commander Andrews would be expecting me on the bridge.
Of course, sir.
So, later on, we finally get to the neutral zone border. So, I'm going to quickly switch us out from this and And over to...
I would advise that we do the standard Navis approach now, is that we drop out at longer range, impulse in, and yellow alert.
Okay.
We're not going in red alert, we're not going in with the weapons hot, but shield active would probably be a good thing.
All right then, no problem.
Secondary core online, ready to bring weapons hot at short notice.
I have no vision on this map.
Nor do I.
Yeah. I have
I
some
see
sort
a
of...
green bar and a blue bar, we're all good. We're the same level.
By the way,
So if you don't have any vision, you're one of the ones who was flushed out in airlock.
Yay!
although thank you for saying that, by the way. I was afraid that I was going mad again.
Well, we shouldn't have said
You are,
anything.
but that's unrelated.
I've sorted it, Matt. Don't worry, I'll put the token vision on.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's your default token. I'll have a look. Yeah, no,
In any case... yes, go on.
do we get a couple of minutes to chat with the captain?
Yeah, well, just to give you an appraisal of what you find when you get there. But yes,
Well, no,
definitely.
I was going to say more with the captain himself. Is that does he know anything about what's going on with the cat? Did she leave any kind of information to him?
Right. So this is while you're in transit, I take it.
Yes.
Okay. He does lean in conspiratorially, there's that word again, to Andrews and go, no, I do not know where she is. And it seems that her absence has got many people concerned, myself included. Your captain is a very resilient woman for a human. I have no doubt that she will turn up again, and she has a reason for her disappearance. At least, that is my optimistic side talking. I'm sure your captain will be back with you soon enough. In the meantime, we have a situation. So, you arrive at the neutral zone, and you pretty much see what you see. You have got a Nova-class vessel, which is very much on the wrong side of the neutral zone, and not far from it is a Romulan warbird. Now, as you come in, you are getting a hail from the Nightingale.
Open hailing frequencies.
Yes, sir.
You overstep your bounds a little bit there, Ensign, says Captain
Apologies,
Akul. Nevertheless...
Jesus.
Sorry. We were meant to... sorry, you said we were in a hurry. I do apologise, sir, for acting on initiative to limit the time we'd be pondering.
Your initiative is made note of, Ensign. Now let us see who it is that's trying to communicate with us.
Alex is laughing. I can't help myself.
You see the viewer changes to the same view that you managed to see before. You recognize from the previous distress signal the human woman, Commander Lewis. The Nightingale still seems to be pretty badly damaged behind her. Yeah, anything else I need to tell you? No. So, Commander Lewis. This is the USS Nightingale. Thank goodness someone's finally come to answer our request for aid. Our ship has no power, no weapons, or shields. The situation's rather grave, I'm afraid.
Captain, permission to open three-way communication to hail the Romulan vessel and potentially open three-way communication between the three vessels.
Good idea, Commander. I agree. Communications officer, hail the warbird and make sure to keep, as the commander suggested, a three-way communication open.
Yes, sir. Opening hailing frequencies.
You don't have to. The Romulans are hailing you.
We're receiving, hailing for the Romulans, permission to accept and for the crew.
Yes, let's see what those pointy-eared snakes are going to talk to us about, eh? So, a Romulan captain, a female, appears on screen. This is Commander Maven. On behalf of the Romulan Star Empire, we claim this vessel as spoils of war. Any attempt to try and liberate this ship will be seen also as an act of war. The crew of this ship, as well as this ship itself, is now property of the Romulan Star Empire. As soon as repairs are completed aboard our ship, we will be taking them to Romulus to stand trial. You would be advised to stay on your side of the border, human. Then she looks over and sees the Klingon in the captain's chair. Interesting.
Mission to take the lead on this, Captain?
Very well, Commander. You may have the lead.
She said it was Commander, wasn't it? Commander Maven.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Commander Maven, I'm the First Officer Commander Sophia Andrews aboard the USS Navis. We would like to request to understand what the situation was from both parties. From what we have been advised is that the Nightingale has suffered a navigational error which caused the discretion and the crossing into the neutral zone. We'd like to understand what your beliefs are on the situation, because neither the Federation nor the Romulan Star Empire nor the Klingon Empire want to be starting a conflict within this area. So a diplomatic situation would be the best way forwards for all parties, would be my belief.
Indeed. Although I find it difficult to believe that a Klingon would want to find a diplomatic solution. I'm not even sure a Klingon knows how to spell diplomacy. Andrews can hear the captain's chair is beginning to creak, as Captain Akul is basically digging his fingers into the armrest and it's starting to bend a little bit. Navigational error be damned, continues Commander Maven. An interesting excuse for a vessel that was obviously sent to spy on the Romulan Star Empire and crossed over thinking we wouldn't notice.
May I point out, Commander, that if you have claimed that vessel as spoils of war, you have access to its navigational computer. May I suggest, as we are currently open on three-way communications, that the current acting captain of the vessel provides the full data as a goodwill faith to first of all prove that case?
Yes, Commander, says the Romulan again, this time directing it very much at... what was her name again? Lewis. Directing this comment at Commander Lewis of the Nightingale. Yes, Commander. Why don't you do that? I'm sure it would clear everything up. It would show us the truth of why you wandered into the neutral zone so blasé. At which point, Commander Andrews, she seems a bit unsure of what to do. And she kind of leans in to the viewer, which is kind of ridiculous because that's what the Romulan commander is seeing as well, but she seems to be trying her best to suggest this be a conversation between the Navis and her. Commanders, Captain, I'm afraid we won't be able to access our computers. The captain, before she was killed, after we came under attack, she initiated a protocol, which means that the main computer is now encrypted. And the captain, was the One with the necessary access codes. Ha! Says Commander Maven. How convenient. Which means you have no proof of what you claim, that this was an accident. What a shame.
At this point, I'll ask to Edwards to mute the comms.
Okay.
Do so subtly.
Okay.
Captain, my thoughts are is that we approach this and offer aid to both parties. One to restore the computer core and one to help aid repairs on the Romulan vessel.
Are we really certain that we want the Romulans to have access? Need I remind you that the directives of this mission are to ensure that the Romulans have no excuse to declare war on the Federation and to save as many of the crew as possible, but we do not allow Federation technology to fall to the Romulans. Allowing them computer access may give them a way in. I do not trust the Romulans. However, I am open to suggestions.
Permission to speak freely?
Captain Akul regards Edwards for a cold minute. Captain Ducasse often spoke of your predilection for outside-the-box thinking, Ensign. You are a civilian, yes, not a member of Starfleet military.
Yes, sir. Acting ensign, currently captain.
Captain Ducasse confessed to me that she found your point of view a much-needed one. So I will honor her opinion and listen to what you have to suggest.
Thank you, sir. The only thing that's been offered so far, if I may, Captain and Commander, is only the navigation. Potentially, if we did go through the offer to restore the computers, we could isolate the navigation logs while at the same time trying to transfer any pertinent or information we don't want to fall into wrong hands back to the Navis. Let's leave them access with the required evidence that proves this was a accident.
We could also just install a worm within that data, so that if it is taken anywhere else, then it causes more harm than good.
I was also going to ask, is Nova, are you picking up any kinds of unnecessary levels of stress from the commander, suggesting that perhaps the Nightingale is doing or was doing something it shouldn't have been doing?
Can I actually get, in that case, you'll probably have to access... actually, let me go back to the bridge. Let's go back to the bridge, it's easy.
Yes, right.
Let's go back to the... Can I get Nova to give me the usual check for her empathic abilities, please?
So having said that, I think Caval will also try to examine the Nightingale to see if there could be any configuration on the ship itself visible from the outside which would indicate that it is some kind of spy vessel.
Okay. So you're basically going to be using sensors to have a look over the ship.
Applying my starship recognition.
Yep. That can definitely be aided by the ship, so is there anyone who hasn't rolled in a while that fancies being the ship for Caval's sensors scan? Going once, going twice. Webby.
What?
Do you want to be the Navis aiding Caval's attempt to scan?
What do you want? Sensors are the one thing that's not good at.
Yeah.
Sensors and engineering or science. Both of which it's like 0 points. Why can't it just be security? We're deliberately looking for
Well,
weapons.
Yeah, you are looking to see whether or not the Nightingale is in fact what it appears to be. So security could apply, actually. Sensors and security. And Jan, yours could be. I mean, you're basically using sensors, so that could be control.
Could
And-
I aid with this potentially? Because I was thinking, with a communications focus, I might be able to identify any particular changes that could reflect on the actual use of or modified to be able to spy.
Sure.
It says USS Nightingale spy ship, not honest gov.
So yeah.
NCC 1701 spy.
There's a little bit of graffiti under it saying Tanaban was here.
So Caval can do a control plus security with focus of starship recognition. Edwards, yours could be control plus engineering, I suppose.
Yeah,
Because you're
do
trying
that.
to recognize components. One
Mhm.
success from the ship, one success from Caval.
And so, will I be able to use my focus or
Yeah.
my new focus? Yeah.
You're basically looking for spy software, spy hardware.
Yeah.
3 successes. Okay, so you get 1 over what you needed. So as you scan the Nightingale, what's evident is, let me see. The ship shows some serious damage. It looks like its engineering section took the greatest hit. The engineering is pretty badly done by, and therefore, problems from there would have cascaded out. But the Nightingale is pretty badly done by. But as much as you can tell, the Nightingale appears to be a standard Nova class vessel. Its loadout definitely appears to be science and exploration. And now you're getting a hail from the Romulans.
Nothing unusual in the scan, sir. Receiving a hail, sir. How should I respond?
What do you think, Commander? They've obviously managed to detect our scanning of the Nightingale.
I personally believe that we offer the grapevine and offer to help with repairs because both parties wish to understand the situation.
Very well. Open communications, Ensign.
Yes, sir.
Federation vessel, you have just conducted a scan of the other ship. We demand to know why. Are you seeking to access their computer core remotely and steal the secrets? Steal all the data, making sure that we never find what you've been spying on us about?
Not at all, Commander. Our scans were to undertake to see what damage has been caused in the conflict. With your permission, we would like to offer our support in getting an understanding of this and potentially providing aid to your vessel's repairs.
There will be
along with
no one
repairs.
beaming aboard our vessel. We would consider that a boarding action. However, continue with your proposal in regards to the other ship.
Both the Romulan Star Empire and the Federation want to understand what has gone on in this situation. We understand, from what we've gathered from our scans, and from the reports that were sent from the Nightingale, is that the engineering section took the biggest hit from the conflict. We would like to commence a repair under the supervision. I'm trying to think. Do I want to propose that? No, I don't want to propose that. We would like to undertake a repair of the engineering section to 1, get the main power back online, and 2, begin trying to decrypt the computer data core to release the information that the captain secured within it.
just sending somebody some messages via whisper. The Romulan
Was
commander
that
seems to be
then
considering this.
prefix code?
We will permit a small landing party to conduct repairs on the ship. However, we demand a small boarding party of our own accompany them.
Did I hit the mute button at this point, normally? Just hijack the comms.
Yep, as operations officer, you are able to. You've got purview over every system, so.
Excellent.
So yes, comms have just been muted, and Captain Akul is looking across, wondering why.
So, Captain, the Romulan commander was very nervous about something prior to us suggesting we board the Federation vessel. I think she's now seeing an opportunity for something she didn't before. with this
Interesting.
latest suggestion.
Which
They wish. Yes. A Nova class is a pretty new vessel type.
Lieutenant Thazadan, you apparently are the one with the most knowledge of various starfaring vessels of various races, but mostly Starfleet, so Captain Ducasse tells me. The Nova class. She's not a warship. Am I correct?
I'm assuming not. So, no, so she's a general purpose vessel
And
used in scientific and exploration missions as well.
How did a scientific and exploration vessel manage to get the better of a Romulan warbird?
Well, saying she got the better of the warbird is, I think, a bit of an overstatement. She has been disabled. But all the Federation vessels are ready to defend themselves.
She's a Nova, it's how we roll.
Yeah, I do agree with Captain, though, is that a Nova class vessel has managed to significantly damage the Romulan warbird. They are unable to return to Romulus, which suggests that something is amiss on all of this.
There's always something amiss when dealing with Romulans. I don't like it. Obviously, the priority here is to the Nightingale and her crew. To not let the Romulans get a hold of it. And yet, we are met with something of a mystery.
I personally think we have to play ball and allow the Romulans on board.
We haven't scanned the Romulan ship, so we cannot verify that the ship is as disabled as they claim it is.
And the moment
it might just be that
Go on.
they playing playing at being more disabled than they actually are.
The trouble is, the moment we try and
be aboard.
trouble is, the moment we try and scan them, they'll know about it.
Not if we subtly, once we restart the Nightingale systems, is that if its sensor palette accidentally bursts, scans the area. I'm pretty sure Commander Vibers could hide something within the startup procedure that would make it happen. Say it's a fault because majority of the engineering deck's been blown out.
Commander Vibers, do you agree with the Commander's suggestion?
Possible. My best reasoning for how to do this is a faulty scanner on the Nightingale, which just so happens to be cross-wired with the docking bay for the shuttlecraft with the replacement core I'll be bringing over.
You people are a lot more devious than your captain mentioned.
If you give me 10 minutes and permission to look up their prefix code, I can make this happen. And the panic from the Nightingale's side will make this look even more accurate.
Convincing, I believe, is the word you were looking for. I approve of this plan, Commander. Get to it.
Okay.
Reopen communications. Reopen communications.
Okay, sir.
That's my programming and grabbing their prefix code ready to go when it kicks off.
Romulan Commander, we will agree to the terms that you have stated. We get to beam over relief crew in order to try and help repair the Nightingale systems in order to shed light on what actually occurred here. You may also beam over an equally small crew in order to oversee the matter so that we are able to share this information equally. Is this acceptable? The Romulan commander seems to be mulling it over. How large of an away team do you need to conduct repairs? Commander.
We'd need at least a five-man engineering team and at least a one oversight team. So if they match our oversight team, that's probably appropriate. Give me a set of mooks.
Are we sending any medical personnel for
I
injured
think,
people on
yes,
there?
I think we send the oversight team is command, medical, operations, tactical, and then we have the engineering section. So 10 operatives in total would be my suggestion. 2 away teams, 1 focused on repair and 1 focused on assisting the crew of the Nightingale.
In order to take off some pressure off the Nightingale, I'd recommend we start evacuating their non-essential office.
We're not allowed to. They're prisoners of war, Commander. At this moment in time, we need to negotiate their release.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Are you suggesting 2 teams of 10 or 2 teams of 5?
2 teams of 5 would be my recommendation, Commander.
Then I will send my own team of 5 Centurions to accompany your oversight group. Very well. Name your beam-in point.
Well, I would say main engineering, but that's gone. Secondary engineering on a Nova class doesn't exist, I don't believe.
So yeah, Commander Lewis basically says, best place I imagine would be the bridge?
Yeah, that would be my next thought, is the bridge.
Very well. The bridge it shall be. So, we will be putting together our team momentarily. I suggest you do the same. The moment we detect your beam out to the Nightingale, we will match it. And then the Romulan commander cuts the signal. Growls are cool. Commander, all things considered. Commander Andrews, with your tactical experience, not to mention, Commander Lewis appears rather young and, what's the human expression? Green. She will need an experienced authority figure in order to assist with whatever's going on. I want you to beam over with the oversight away team. I will remain here on the bridge of the Navis. Take whoever it is you believe will be valuable to your efforts.
Well, Commander Vipers is set as his own team. I think Dr. Bertram is a necessity. Nova is a necessity. Security-wise, I would say we would also want security operations. Cavall knows the ship infrastructure of a Nova class better than most people on board. So, but at the same time, whether he wishes to remain as the helm operator on board the Navis or feels that once we get power online, we could potentially make it suddenly jump to war.
Well,
Is
it just call that?
go on, Jan.
We need to ask the thing.
Okay, Jan, do you have anything to say?
I feel Cavell should stay on the Navis. I think it's a tough choice, but I think safety-wise, safety first.
Okay.
I just had an idea. It's too bad we're agreeing to beam in because a runabout would be a quieter way of transferring any information from the computer off there. We'd be able to transfer it to a runabout. It would give off less of a flare than taking it directly to the or transferring it directly to the Navis.
There is still a crew of Romulans overseeing everything that's being done. The second you start a data transfer to a runabout.
Okay.
Since we're already tampering with systems, we could potentially try and lock one of the impulse engines on to send it towards our border. That would force them into action.
But would it push it in? Would they consider it pushing it into war?
Not necessarily if it's a startup.
Yeah, if it looks like it's because of damage, the impulse engine is just literally locked on. And we can't turn it off because the computers are encrypted, so that's not our problem. That's just literally damage.
Right. Cavell, as I'm getting main power back online, or some sort of power, I think, for a bit more stable, we're going to tell them that the secondary core got wiped and needs some information from the Navis. This isn't that unusual a thing to happen anyway. We're effectively asking for an upload to get us kick-started. When I called to ask for that, could you send the prefix code back? That would give the Navis remote control of the ship.
Okay.
That then gives you all sorts of future options as we get other systems online. And the system right behind under their nose.
Yeah, I would say to allow it so that we've got everyone to roll, I would probably suggest that we also bring Nurse Bravo and Security Bravo. Oh, we've got Security Bravo. Engineering Bravo as well.
Part of the 5-man engineering team, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Okay, then. So who else have we got? We could bring Philippe. On a tick. No, we'll bring the tick.
I know, and Edwards would probably be best staying on the Navis because I don't think anything he could do would be useful.
We only need 2 other Bravos for the 6 of them.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
So engineering Bravo could either be.
Yeah. Engineering Bravo is one of the 5-man team that's going with Ibis.
and then that
You've got
leaves.
Bravo and the tick on the security on you. Cool.
Okay, so well, Jan and Alex get their pick on who wants to be who of
Security Bravo.
Security Bravo, Natik, Nurse Bravo, and Engineer Bravo.
I'd go security. I had fun with them last time.
Shoot by fire. Okay. That's cool. That's fine. But
You can't
obviously...
go wrong with antennae, so I could
Well-
always take and tick.
Okay then. The antenna boys. Alternative communication since 2372. If that is indeed this date. Anyway. Okay, so Vibers and Bravo are going to be leading the engineering team, and the rest of you are going as the oversight team, yes? Spiffing! So if I can just highlight everybody, we don't want to take your tactical officer. Okie dokie. So... over to... the Nightingale.
You do not have visibility on this map.
No, because I haven't brought you in yet.
Hey.
Let's see, did I accidentally make you appear in somebody else's space?
For some reason, I thought Claude was a Goomba from the Mario movie.
Lieutenant, report.
Right, let me just...
What we're prepping over is that Andrews would suggest is that we potentially look at doing long-range comms blocking as a backup on the Navis. If it does turn hostile.
So,
If Captain Permission Edwards could
Romulans-
probably look at that.
pardon me, sorry. So as soon as you guys beam in, the bridge is pretty much the mess you saw. There are faulty bits everywhere. Some bits are burning, some bits are sparking. There are crew members who still sport injuries, standing at their stations, and then the Romulans beam in. A quintet of Centurions who immediately draw their disruptors and start keeping an eye on everybody. But regardless of that, as soon as you guys beam on, Commander Lewis steps forward, and yes, she's very young, which means she's probably not long been given the job of XO. Thank goodness. Oh, and she looks a bit alarmed as she notices the Romulans beam on. Well, that's to be expected, I suppose. Welcome to the Nightingale, such as it is.
Commander, permission to take operational command of the vessel in the interim period.
Of course, Commander. If you think that that's advisable, then yes, of course. My crew and I are at your disposal.
You seem under an additional amount of stress which is unbefitting of a recently promoted XO.
Sorry, sir. We're a bit, as you can see, bedraggled.
Of course. I think it's worthwhile that we introduce ourselves to the Romulans officially as well. See if we can get any names of the sort of like sub-commanders that have beamed over, well, the Centurions that have beamed over.
The Centurions are not interested in giving you their names. They are just watching everybody.
Not at all. Well, that's what we expected.
It turns out these are the Romulan versions of the Bravos.
We are here to perform oversight.
The
Human.
applauds.
We are not here to give you our names.
Of course, we are merely just advising to you on who we are, as a showing that we are here with the intents and agreements that were specified between your commander and our captain.
Then continue, human, but we will be watching.
Of course. Lieutenant Commander Vibers will be leading his engineering team on support in the reconnaissance and the recovery of the engineering deck and the main computer. Lieutenant Nova would be best suited at the operations deck to try and help the Nightingale command ops officer with trying to
Decrypt.
Decrypt. Thank you. I just realised that Jenny Eric is here, but her name's changed.
Oh, whoops! Did I grab? Oh no, it's the same token. That's all. Because technically, science officer. So, yeah. Did I grab Jenny? No. This is science officer Emily Cho.
Okay.
Who looks like a clone of Jenny Eric.
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's because it's
They're
Jenny
also
Eric.
they're all generic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bravo, if you can focus on the bridge and see what you can get of the diagnostic systems back up and running. 2 of the team are with you.
All right then.
Alright.
At which point,
Lieutenant,
the
Telek, you're coming with me.
very well, sir. If I have the commander's permission to leave the bridge, says Lieutenant Telek.
And my other engineer comes along as well.
Yeah,
I've left
so
a team of 3 of engineers in there.
he's released
and drag-
operational command. Oh no. So it would be a case of yes, you have permission.
Bertram wants to know where what the condition of the crew is, and if there's like multiple injured people, and if so, are they in sick bay or gathered somewhere else, so that he can start trying to get people back up.
Oh, Commander Lewis interjects at this point. Oh, we definitely have injured, sir. They are. Last I was told, they're queuing outside of sickbay. We need all the help we can get there. We lost the vast majority of our engineering personnel. We now have science officers trying to be engineers.
Commander, with your permission, I'll get back to sickbay and start dealing with the crew injuries there. See if I can actually help them.
Granted, Doctor, take as many people as you need.
Okay, Nurse Bravo.
Okie dokie. Where's Nurse Bravo? There's Nurse Bravo. Whoop. Let's put security next to Nurse. Andrews. Natik keeping an extra eye on everybody because he's got that many compound eyes. Nice to meet you. I'm Arian. How many consoles did the Sparky? Yes. What's obvious from Nova going over to this ops officer is, well, he's from a species that you don't know very well, but this guy's basically built like stone. In fact, it looks like he's chipped out of stone. Greetings, I am Clort. He's got really big, stubby fingers, and you can see he's having enormous difficulty trying to do anything that requires too much manual dexterity. In fact, it's like watching somebody with big fingers type with just their index fingers and doing it very slowly.
Oh, guy, one finger typing on the op console.
I like
Permission
already.
to transfer power denied. Oh,
Why are we delayed? Oh no.
I'm usually on security. I don't tend to do this.
Well, you're doing it today, and that's all that matters. Welcome.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you'll love it.
So we have got.
yeah, you would get. I think that I would get security Bravo to kind of look like he's assisting with the engineering bits, whereas Matique is kind of like.
It goes off with vibers then.
No.
That
But
was
he's on the bridge.
Nurse Bravo going off
Yeah,
with Bertram.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Wrong Bravo.
They all look alike.
Yeah, security Bravo. I think he's still on the bridge because at the moment the operational position is that on the bridge.
So you're going to try and bluff it to look like he's actually doing something.
For engineering, I split the engineering team. There's me and two mooks, plus this guy going off to the core.
Okay.
Bravo plus the other mook are repairing consoles on the bridge so they know what the hell is going on.
Okay. We've got Nurse Bravo and Doc Bertram heading towards sickbay.
Yep.
So that's what they're off to. So I'm just going to put them over here, slightly separate. Badoop.
Can't drag.
You guys can stay there, and I'll deal with you in a mo. So, The Romulans are basically lurking. But for the most part, they seem to be just plain old watching everybody and covering them with disruptors, but they don't seem interested in looking over your shoulders, as it were. So you've got a bit of separation over here as Commander Lewis leads you over to the science and engineering stations over here, which gives you a minute to talk.
Yeah, so yes, I think that it would be very subtle along the lines of, are you being totally honest with what happened?
Absolutely, sir. I can give you a rundown of what I remember.
I think it would be worthwhile doing so.
Okay.
We need to understand the situation fully if we are able to alleviate the situation that we find ourselves in.
As far as I am aware, we're not on any kind of spying mission whatsoever. Let me think. I was on duty. Captain Blake was in her quarters. Everything was fine and we had no problems that had been reported on the ship. Our course was to travel along the Federation side of the neutral zone to our new survey assignment. During a routine course check, our navigator realized that we had gone off course. The navigational systems showed that we were still on course. However, a more detailed position check proved that we had slid into the neutral zone. Now, before we had a chance to change course, the Romulan warbird decloaked and opened fire on us. We returned fire, but the next salvo from the Romulans took out our shields and made a direct hit on our engineering section. We were really no match for the warbirds, so I'm actually surprised that we managed to inflict as much damage as the Romulans say we did. The Romulans demanded our surrender. I surrendered on the condition that we were allowed to apprise Starfleet of the incident, and it was then that I sent the distress call. Out of our crew complement of about 80, I think about 40 have either been killed or injured in the attack. All of our engineering team are incapacitated. Most of the crew are scientists, so they're doing their best at being impromptu engineers, trying to work on any repairs we've found needed. Captain Blake was found dead in her quarters, but she had managed to activate what's called the Romulan Protocol. It seemed that, from what the doctor was able to tell, the captain was hurt trying to get to the bridge, but then made it back to her quarters in order to activate the protocol. As far as I'm made aware of it, the Romulan Protocol is an emergency procedure that ensures that the enemy can't claim data should they capture the ship. On the command of the captain, it locks out and encrypts all the data in the computer system. It means that the computer is shut down and locked, but life support and manual systems are still operational. It can be undone given time, or a Federation computer lab, but I'm guessing the Romulans aren't going to like that. That's all I know.
Previously, to have such a thing as the Romulan Protocol.
Apparently it's the new security standard. We haven't long left space dock. This was the Nightingale's first assignment out of refit. I say refit. You know, out of dock. Sorry, I'm very new to this. I was a science officer before all of this. Captain Blake thought I had potential.
You were able to negotiate a situation with a Romulan commander. Take that as a compliment, Commander. Not many new exos could do such a thing.
Thank you, sir. What are we going to do about the Romulans? I mean, we're not actually going to hand us over to them, are we? Are we?
We will do everything in our power to ensure that that doesn't happen, but we need to understand the full situation before we're able to act accordingly. From where we currently are, we are on the wrong side of the neutral zone. They have a right to intervene with what's going on, which is why we need to understand the full extent of what happened. When the ship, how long had you been off course when it was noted? Because that should potentially give us a track back point to see if there's anything along the neutral zone border which is causing navigational systems to error.
Last I remember, our navigational officer came to tell me that we had drifted into the neutral zone. We can't have drifted in for more than 20 minutes, maybe. That's the weird thing. For us to just drift in? Like I said, everything looked like it was operating fine. The failure of the navigational system could just be a fault, but, well, we'd need someone to look at it, and right now we're down on people to do that. Navigational systems are not quite as high up.
Yeah, it'd be an open comms bit to Vibers to say that when him and his crew are now working on the repairs, is that we look at the navigational system. Well, because we want to understand the situation anyway, the navigational system for us is probably the main priority. So that we also want to have a detail to see, track it back between the last, or from when the ship came to a halt to about an hour previous.
Do you need the nav comms dead reckoning? See what I can do.
Okay, so the situation as we have it, most of the damage to the Nightingale is due to the strike on main engineering. From what I understand, the damage is extensive and the core had to be shut off for safety reasons. It was shut down because the systems that keep it in check are in bad need of repair. The damage also caused power surges across the ship that blown out most of the power conduits and impacted several secondary systems. Luckily, excuse me, hang on a second, I've got itchy nose. Luckily, life support systems are in no danger, but power reserves are low across the ship. With the chief engineer dead and no clear successor amongst the remaining engineers, there's no one really in charge until you guys arrived. What engineers we do have left have gathered teams of mostly scientists and have taken on certain areas to fix separately. The fact that we now have a chief engineer on board is going to help that so much. There are repair teams working on the ship, but none of them have as much working engineering experience beyond basic training. So, yeah, that'll be great.
Yes, I would then request we reopen comms with the Navis, with the permission of the Romulans, to then request that they negotiate with the Romulan vessel to potentially allow us to transfer power to the Nightingale to assist in restart programs, because we are running on emergency batteries and they have finite life.
Commander Maven doesn't respond immediately, but eventually she does. With very well, but we will be keeping a close eye on the situation. Nova, give me another insight and command.
Bearing in mind, we have also got the Bravo.
You have also got Bravo, so Bravo Security can give me one as well. And Jan, do you want to be Bravo the Engineer to give me the same thing? See if the other telepath can pick up.
So insight plus command.
Insight and command from all three of the Betazoids, please.
Is this a assistance or a separate role?
It can be an assist.
Telepathic harmony.
God, no, I am Bravo.
Okay, 4 successes overall. That's nice. You got 2 momentum off of that. Okay. The impression that each of the Betazoids get is that the Commander Maven appears to be playing for time. She didn't want to appear eager to respond to that request of yours, but yeah, that's what you're getting so far.
Are we able to use the link to actually let one of the Bravos on the ship know so that you could pass it on to the bridge crew?
Say that again, sorry. Reword that a little bit for me. I'm not sure I got that quite.
How you said there's no real kind of range on the link between the Bravos, correct? So would we be able to like send sort of like a message or some sort of emotional like link message back down to the link on one of the Bravos still on the Navis, so they could alert the bridge crew of this?
It would be a bit of a strain, but it's possible, yes. The remaining Bravo on the ship would be the one in stellar cartography, if I recall. 1, 2,
We've only got 3.
Quintuplets. Who's the other one? So we got the nurse, the engineer, the security officer. And then stellar cartography, there was one more. He was in the science department, wasn't he? So, there you go. So yeah, he could pass, both of them are technically sciences, but one of them's astro-navigation, so technically stellar cartography actually reports to Caval.
It was just a thought of letting them know without
absolutely
giving up the element of surprise.
While this is happening as well, could we try a subtle internal scan, checking for any signals being sent from here towards the Romulan vessel?
Cool.
Yes. Or the opposite way as well.
Anybody who wants to do so is first going to have to give me a daring and security check in order to try and mask what you're doing, and it's going to be opposed by the Romulan Centurions doing insight and security.
Can I roll that and then get everyone to follow my lead?
Sure. Hold on a second. Let me just.
Battlefield tactics as a foci?
Beg your pardon?
Battlefield tactics as a foci. I'm playing the game of chess.
Okay, I'll allow that. Did I do that right? I did. So 2 successes from Andrews, so it's currently a stalemate. So follow my lead. Once per scene, when you succeed at a task, you during combat or other perilous situation, you may spend a determination. If you do, choose a single ally. The next task that ally counts as having assistance from you using presence and command. Okay. So I take it then that Nova's doing a subtle scan?
Yeah, I guess
using
so.
a tricorder? Okay. So...
Again, using...
Well, daring security first to hide it, I guess?
Yeah. But you get to have Andrews aid you using Andrews' presence and command.
Again, using foci?
Yep.
So can I claim the foci of infiltration?
Yes, absolutely. I forget how sneaky Nova is.
Is mine 1 or 2 dice?
It's 1 dice for you, because you're aiding.
Can I burn a momentum?
Everybody alright with that?
Yeah.
Sure, okay, yep.
So that's 2 die now.
Three successes, which means you get 4 successes in total, 2 over what you needed. Very much thanks to Andrews.
Definitely. Just cops as they start glancing over at me.
So this means that you can now use a tricorder to have a subtle little scan about. So what were you looking for particularly? Communications.
communications, anything being sent from here to the Romulan vessel?
Currently, you detect no sign of any signal, any carrier wave emanating from the Nightingale at all that could be going in the direction of the Warbird. So you're pretty confident in that.
They've not dropped a bug or something that's slowly sending data back.
So yeah, as far as you can tell, and you're pretty confident in the results, there is no signal of any kind going between the Nightingale and the Romulan ship. Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to do before we start getting stuck into what this ship needs to have happened so we can get repaired?
It might be worthwhile subtly inquiring of how many capable security officers are still alive on board the Nightingale.
Not a heck of a lot. Lewis motions over to the ops console. Our chief security officer, Claude, has had to second as the ops officer. And one of our other security officers is Adrian Vance here, who's now had to sub for our tactical officer. Everyone else is grabbing a hyperspanner and aiding with the repairs. Right then. So, let's see. Let me just check my notes. Alright, so I'm going to quickly shift to Vibers. I'm going to ask for Vibers to give me a reason and engineering task to give me an assessment of what needs to happen for repairs to the ship. So an assessment of the damage and what repairs will be needed.
Right. There you go.
4 successes, 3 over what you needed, so you gain a load. Zoinks, yo. Looks like you burned to determination, though.
I decided I was going overkill.
Okay. Alright then. So, let me see. Right, most of the damage is in engineering. Power surges have taken out several EPS conduits. So there's all sorts of areas all over the ship that are going to need repair. However, to get specific, well, obviously, warp core safety systems will need to be repaired in order to be able to activate the warp core again without fear of breach. Exterior hull plating is in bad need of repair as well.
Shields can recover from that.
Once the warp core safety systems are back online, obviously the warp core will need to be brought back online. There are several ship systems that need to be checked over and secured before they can receive power safely. This includes propulsion, shields, weapons, and other secondary systems like lighting, replicators, internal scanners, etc. The main computer, of course, needs repair, and this is made all the more difficult thanks to the fact that the security encryption is now in place. So you have more than enough to do. So let me bring up a few things here. We have got a load of extended tasks to do. So you've got overall computer repair, which is this fella here. We have got general systems for shields, general systems for weapons. We've got the computer core itself. Propulsion systems need to be checked, and all secondary systems need to
The computer core repair is that important. It's mentioned twice.
Oh, good God, yeah, there's 2 of them. Did that mean I didn't change? That's actually... this other one is not computer repair. That's self-destruct repair. Pardon me.
That's
It's
not
yeah.
Let me rename that one. For some reason.
As much as I like your plan to repair the computer core, there's just two problems, sir. The first is we don't have a computer core, and the second is we don't have a computer core. Now, I know that's only technically one reason, but it was that important I thought we'd mention it twice.
Right. I'm thinking getting the secondary systems online means we've got some power here. That'll make a load of things a lot easier.
In order to get power, you need to get the warp core online. In order to get the warp core online, you need the safety systems for the warp core repaired. So you don't get a breach.
Yep. Looks like it's down to warp core. But we wanted stuff that I can do the core stuff when we get the...
So let me get you and him. Let me just copy you,
Okay.
because you want the engineering. Let me quickly dump you to the Nightingale's engineering section. Ba-doop.
Okay.
So, this
Right.
one should be the one for... Which one's this? Warp core repair. And this would mean this one should be warp core safety systems. Yep.
Okay. Telek, tell me exactly what happened while I'm hitting this with a Hydra spanner and whatever other tools are necessary.
So, Vibers is taking charge and is now going to start looking at stuff. What else do we have? There's something else over here. The exterior hull plating extended task is down here in engineering 2. So, before we get stuck into that, we also have the situation in sick bay. So if I can just grab the doc and the nurse. Nightingale sick bay. Where can I put you? Right there. Just coming out of the turbo lift. So, sick bay, sick bay,
Oh my
sick
God.
bay, sick bay,
Like
sick
four
bay.
general planes.
So, let's see.
Last time I saw a
generic
queue
word.
outside sickbay, it was people clamouring for my latest Moss lecture.
No, they were escaping your latest boss lecture.
No, it was a perfect cover for someone to start dealing narcotics.
No comment.
So what you've got as soon as you reach the corridor outside of sickbay is that you've got a queue of crew who are all nursing various injuries. Excuse me, cuts, bruises, burns, and you've got a single nurse. She seems to be going down the line doing triage as best as she can.
People are standing in line because they've got like, oh, I've got a little cut to my hand. It's like, get off the flipping med deck. Get back to your post. Deal with it later.
Not believe generic pupils.
I know.
I'm gonna go over with Nurse Bravo to. Is that a Romulan? A Romulan? Vulcan rather.
She is indeed a Vulcan, so it appears. Vulcan nurse.
Hey,
So whoever wants to take charge of Nurse Bravo, feel free to.
Okay. I'll go over there and excuse me.
Yes! Even the Vulcan seems to have a bit of irritation in her voice. Sorry, sir.
I'm Dr. Bertram. This is Nurse Bravo. We've been dispatched here from the Navis to provide medical assistance. Where do you need us most urgently?
You are needed most urgently in the main sickbay. There, our chief medical officer, Dr. Gatrell, will apprise you of the situation. However, I can save you a little time in this regard. The situation is, as you can see, not good.
Then I'd best get to work to help where I can as soon as possible. I'll enter sickbay and begin work at once.
Is Nurse Bravo going as well, or is Nurse Bravo aiding with this queue of people?
Look, at a glance, the people here look like they got sort of like non sort of like urgent, non-life-threatening injuries, or
Certainly, you would hope that the fact that most of them are able to stand is an indication that they're at least able to be seen. But if you do take a look down the southern end of the corridor,
yeah.
there are body bags, so the situation isn't great at all.
Right, in that case, we'll go into sick bay and ascertain the situation because we can work out where best both of us can actually start working.
So feel free to move on in. Same goes for Nurse Bravo. For the moment, it's just following in. So, yes, you are met with an extremely full sick bay. You've got another Vulcan medical officer currently trying to see to what looks like a very badly injured crew woman. And just from Bertram being close to the bio bed, the readings are not good. She's dead from massive internal trauma.
Is Guttrell still trying to work on her?
He seems to be trying to resuscitate her, yes.
Okie dokie.
It's
What about
difficult
the
to tell
others?
for certain, but it almost seems like the Vulcan is getting desperate.
Okay. And the others, is there anyone there that looks like they're about to pop off this mortal coil?
This one over here looks like she's very badly hurt. And the biobed is reading deteriorating life signs, certainly.
Okay, I'll go over to that one as he's either that person's dead and he's panicking, or he'll put a miracle on her. I don't want to interrupt things, that'll probably just make things worse, so I'll go straight over to this one.
Excuse me, who are you and what are you doing in my sick... Oh, I'm sorry.
Chief Medical Officer Bertram from the Navis, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm going to try and save this person's life.
Thank you. It is much appreciated. I have not had any relief officers. Nurse, if you would assist me, please. This one, unfortunately, needs to be moved to the morgue and must make room for others. So, the situation as Dr. Bertram and Nurse Bravo get is, as well as help, as you start helping with the sick, is that half the crew is either dead or injured. Sickbay is undamaged, thankfully, and the medical team is working to triage the incoming wounded and stabilize the worst cases. There are 8 full-time medical staff on the Nightingale, and several biologists have been deputized as medics. So, Chief Medical Officer Lieutenant Commander Guttrell is currently left in charge. They've got no power to run the emergency medical hologram. And with no computer, the medical team have got no access to medical records.
I remember what I said earlier to Akul about Starfleet being too reliant on technology.
Well, far be it for you to feel smug in a tense situation, but...
No, saving lives comes before smugness. Smugness can come later when I do my personal log.
Smugness is his after-performance cigarette.
So basically what you've got is that the surgical systems all work, but the automation is gone, and scans have to be done more carefully as a result. Surgical space is at a premium, as there aren't enough beds to cope with demand. So yes, you're basically going off of your own personal knowledge.
I'll bring up at this point, I do have the talent field medicine, in case that becomes relevant.
So that will aid very much in that case. So, let me just look. Are there any tests you need to make? So, basically, any medicine tasks have their complication range rather than their difficulty increased by 2. So that means that complications occur on an 18 to 20 rather than a 20, should you have to do them.
Ooh dear.
But for the moment, because of your field medicine, the difficulty of working without the proper equipment is not applied to yourself because Dr. Bertram is that awesome.
I'm awesome.
So that's as much as we can do for the dock at the moment. So I suppose this comes down to what do folks want to do next? Do you want to start working on the repairs, or is there something else that you guys want to do? In fact, let's go back to the bridge momentarily. So yeah, is there anything that Andrews and Herlot want to try and get done now? Because they can't do, they can try and aid in some of it, but most of the repair-related stuff is now going to be done by Vibers and his team. So while they're loitering, is there anything the command oversight team want to do? I mean, there are a few weird things going on.
Yeah, there are. It's the fact that the sub-commander is wanting to get as much time as possible into this suggests that there's something going on, which they need time to prepare for.
Potential reinforcements.
Yeah.
Or they're distracting us from what's missing to the neutral zone in the first place.
Yeah. So I think doing deck by deck sweeps might actually be worthwhile. To kind of see is that we're going to see, because the internal sensors are down, we don't know if anyone is still alive and injured. So we can be looking for survivors, whilst at the same time taking internal scans of the ship to see if there's anything unusual or of non-Starfleet origin.
Okay.
Which we can pick up.
Alright, so let's go past the engineering stuff. We just got wounded in sick bay. Let's see, on a Nova class vessel, you go down the captain. Well, as you start going down, one of the places that you probably might want to check out will be the navigational array. If you think that's worth investigating.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Deck 3.
Yeah, that's one of the things we need to encrypt, so yeah.
So naturally, the Centurions go with you. So let's get you to the navigational array area and bring the
Just
Romulans
you
along
know,
for the
from where
ride.
the navigational array is, I'm assuming it's a small one up the big deflector. You're gonna be able to distract them around the captain's yacht if you're trying to keep them occupied.
Who am I missing? I am missing Nova. Why can't I get at Novas? Oh, what's going on? I'm being blocked. Okay, that's no problem. Let's bring in Nova from another place. Let's make it this bridge here. Navigational array. There we are. And there are 5 Centurions, aren't there? Yes. Let's bring them in. So, let's bring you into the navigational array. So, you find the navigational array has got one person on it. He's furiously trying to work at the system. Got a panel open, conducting repairs. So it's basically what you'd like to do.
I think that we offer our support and say that this is Lieutenant Nova. I'm pretty sure she's very good at repair. She's very good at assisting and repairing systems without all of the necessary components.
Mm-hmm.
And then also ask him about the anomaly that they picked up on their system to allow it to drift out of navigation paths, etc.
Okay. So while Andrews is talking with Lieutenant Dallon, I will allow Nova to give me a reason and con task with a difficulty of 1. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Dallon steps away from the console and says, have at it. Anomaly. I'm afraid there wasn't an anomaly, Commander. That's the whole strange thing about this. There was no anomaly. The navigational array appeared to be working fine. But then when someone happened to look out of a window and did a manual check of the stars, we found that we were quite a bit off course. We were looking at trying to see where the drift had occurred, and then we were attacked by the Romulans, and then, well, he kind of gestures around at the chaos.
So, basically, by your own navigational instruments, there's no drift whatsoever.
Apparently not. Now, Nova. You can find, even though the system's damaged, investigating the navigation station thing, you can find there's no fault with the console itself. Which means there are 2 other possibilities. The officer on duty is to blame, either accidentally or on purpose, or the navigational sensor array itself is somehow faulty.
Not being external, and that the navigational convoys have been subtly altered.
Are you suggesting sabotage, Commander?
Merely just hypothesizing the theory.
Or it could be something outward that could give the appearance that the border has moved when it's not. Navigation-wise, that's the only other option. It's either external or it's internal.
Well, like I said, when I last checked my instrumentation, we were on course. And then all of a sudden, it turns out we're not. I had a little... What was that? Sorry, Sean?
What if we are on course?
That's...
Oh, I'm sorry, Lieutenant, what are you suggesting?
I think that something is...
interfering to make it appear we're on course when we're not.
That's actually a good point. Can I do another subterfuge bit to open my open my comm badge?
Mm-hmm.
And then tap out in Morse code on the comm for the navigational check.
You could have Security Bravo do it, as we've already established the link still works to the one that's still on the Navis. If you want to do it quieter.
Yeah, but you can't ask Bravo to do it quietly. There's Florian starting there.
So what are you doing?
Basically, just opening it using the comm badge and just tapping out check own navigation log. Suspect exterior interference.
Okay. So we're going to have to be surreptitious about this. This is going to be daring and security, I think, from Andrews. Against the rampant paranoia of the Romulans.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn a momentum again.
Could try and distract.
Oh, the Centurion got 3 successes, so they're watching you very closely.
Yeah.
Could do the walking by, accidentally trip and fall into them. Try and distract them. as Security Bravo.
Well, since Nova's already declared this out loud, we could just start pretending we're looking for that. And pretend we've found something.
Okay, so, however as many want to join in the daring and security subterfuge
Bruce.
can aid, absolutely.
I'm going to burn it. Sorry, you first, Jan.
Nitik will assist with a daring and security subterfuge.
Okay, awesome.
Run over.
Nothing from... No help from him, but Natik runs interference.
Burn a determination at this point with that 2 assists.
Yeah.
Six dice, isn't it?
I'll not assist because that'll give you your dice. So.
Yes, I'll burn a determination as well as winning the momentum.
Alrighty. So that automatically gives you 3 successes, so it's whatever you earn outside of that determination will give you the edge. So let's see what you get. Can you get it past the Romulans? Can you out-sneak the Romulans? Yes, you can.
By a lot.
By quite a bit. So you needed 3, you got 4, 5. So you definitely get that momentum back. So yes, you are able to, helping each other, you are able to surreptitiously get a message back to the Navis. And then...
I'd hope that Andrews' former sort of like security team would know kind of like they'd have subtle kind of communications to each other.
Yeah,
Edwards might be able to pick it up. To be honest, if it's going through the communications thing, it's a speciality, and going to give me if you want me to give a roll to see if he picks it up.
I would say with that many successes, the subterfuge was successful. Therefore, the message gets through. So Edwards will be getting, the report, but also we will be getting that sequence of beeps. You can make a roll for it if you want, but I'm of the opinion that Edwards...
If you don't understand it, then it goes straight on.
Do it. Go for the complication. Do it. Do it.
GM's call. If he says he'll understand it, he would immediately report to the captain.
Yeah, give us a check then. Let's have a look. See how you're... Use that spanking new focus of yours.
Trying to... Where are my characters?
So this is going to be control and science.
Control...
But this will be aided by the ship. So anybody who hasn't had a roll in a while... Who hasn't had a roll in a while?
Oh, so close.
Who hasn't had a roll?
If you want.
Needs to be the ship.
I'll give it a roll if you
Yeah,
want.
Gareth, there we go. So this is going
Almost
to
got the
be
20.
communications and... science, I suppose. And aiding, so yep, just one of those.
Oh, sorry.
So that's
I
a
rolled 2 by
2.
mistake.
We'll take
you
the
rolled
1.
2.
So that's fine. That's 2 successes. That's decent. You managed to glean with help from one of the other security personnel on board the Navis who recognizes
Morse code.
the code. Oh yeah, Andrews would have us study this all the time. Do you like to send coded messages that way? Usually giving
Would you-
orders.
Report this to the captain with as long as the request to self-diagnose our own navigation equipment, which I imagine would be done by Natala.
Yes.
If captain
and
gives permission to proceed.
I think it might be useful for Cavell to actually do actual sort of by hand confirmation of our position using astronavigation.
yeah, sure, absolutely. Difficulty
I'd
1.
love to see Caval get the sextant out now and just point it out the window.
Sextant?
It's like,
Please,
Any
the guy
degrees
holds his
by
hand up
whatever.
against the view screen.
he just licks a finger. and-
He's not Moana.
angle.
Not Moana, make an L with your fingers and kind of like navigate by the star like that.
I am Fazanan. No, it doesn't work with the rhyming scheme or the. Yeah, absolutely. Caval can can have a good old checkaroo. Difficulty, I'm going to go with difficulty 1. So that's going to be, what? I don't know. I could go with control and con would be fine, just to check position. Yeah, one success, there you go. So, altogether you can confirm that you are exactly where you think you should be, and there is no obvious... there's no interference that at least affects the Navis and their navigational deflector.
Good.
So the Navis is exactly where it should be. So, with that in mind, what would you like to do next? Do you want to try repairing some of the systems now, or do you want to do a little bit more investigation?
I'd like to start on the warp core safeties before this whole thing explodes.
Alright then, let's quickly jump back to you then.
Once we're past that, it's probably a good time to try and sneak in the prefix code somewhere.
Ah. Well, luckily for you, there's no Romulan overseers going on in here.
Oh look, that's a good point. Fibers to Navis. I'm not able to trust the computers over here. Could I request a data transfer to... Could I request a pad containing the emergency warp core safety manuals for a Nova class insert year iteration here, please? It's a fix issue, if you know what I mean.
Stand by, Commander. And sure enough, a pad gets transported next to you.
Oh good, let's check the covers what I expect and check it contains a prefix code as well.
Oh yes.
Let's start typing.
So, obviously the the systems are not online, therefore there's nothing to type into.
Yes.
But if you want to get the warp core safety systems online, then I will require a
Right. And then Lieutenant and Lieutenant, tell me what the hell did you do to this ship? It's brand new.
It wasn't us, sir. It was the Romulans. However, you need to give me an engineering check, so it's going to be reason and engineering.
Oh, reason and engineering I'm happy with. Cool.
Let's see, you've got power systems and warp field dynamics, that'll do. Warp field dynamics is a good one. Difficulty 2.
Oh, difficulty 2. Yeah, that should be fine. There's no point burning momentum for this. Warp core safety. Nah, this'll be fine.
It's all good. It's all good, I got this. 3 successes, awesome. Which means that you got 1 over what you needed, which means you've made a...
Which, oddly enough, even though I got the manuals, I didn't use my procedural compliance to use them.
Awesome, so that's 1 breakthrough done, which means that you're that much closer to restarting the warp core safety systems. So yep, doing a fine job. You managed to... The people who are there, the engineers that are present, are obviously extremely relieved to have a senior engineering officer aboard, and the ensigns who were science officers drafted in to do engineering work are also very happy to have an actual engineer who knows what they're doing. So they are fine to take
two mooks that came down with me.
Yep.
So my 2 highly specialised engineers have gone and paired up with their science officers to go, right, No, this is how you hold the Hydra spanner. This is how you hold the welder, not that way round and helping them get things moving.
Okay. So, if you want, that's like a good bit of work done there. That takes you a good bit of time. So I'm gonna quickly jump us to sickbay, where we're going to see how the doc is doing. So the doc can give me. What will we make it? Reason plus medicine with your focus on biology and xenobiology. Of course, you ignore the difficulty increase because of the lack of systems, so this is going to be difficulty 2 to try and help this rather badly injured crewman. You did help the other one, but you've now got a new one to see to, so let's just see how well you're doing as an overall look at Dr. Bertram's progress in clearing the backlog of injured. 2 successes on the bean, exactly what you needed. So with Bertram's usual calm efficiency, people are coming in with injuries, you're seeing to them, you're diagnosing them, you don't need all this instrumentation, you brought exactly what you needed, and you're setting bones, getting people back to work as quickly and efficiently as possible. Very nicely done. So, slowly, crew members are being healed to the point where they can report back to duty and start having aiding in repairs. The guys in the navigational array, you get the report back from the Navis that you're exactly where you think you should be, so that still leaves user error, or the navigational deflector array has been tampered with or suffered damage or something, and that's on the exterior of the ship.
I'm willing to go for a spacewalk, I suppose.
So, that's cool.
Unless you want to send somebody else so I can monitor the personnel as you question. Well, you've got a Bravo. Probably better at navigation.
Yeah, at the same time, though, is that Andrews remembers the report that came in when Nova was last out in an EVA suit.
Nothing.
It's like, Andrews is still trying to justify not filing the report.
So, are you taking Bravo or Natik? Is Bravo or Natik going with Nova?
I'd say Natik.
Okay.
And then we keep at that.
Tell
It's like, do I let Nova go out on a spacewalk?
Unsupervised? You mad?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
Oh god, Natik's doesn't actually. Oh god.
He knows nothing.
So there are EVA suits, that's no problem, and you can spacewalk on the exterior of the ship.
Do you know what, sod it? I think Andrews and Bravo are going to go on the flipping spacewalk. Trust them.
The Centurions are obviously not going on the spacewalk with you, so they are monitoring the situation from navigational control with Lieutenant Dallon.
Yeah, are any of the reactions changing when we start kind of just throwing these ideas around?
No. And considering you've got 2 Betazoids, the Romulans are content to watch and let you run around, it seems. But they definitely seem to be waiting for something. And in that regard, can I get Nova to give me an insight and engineering check when you do get to the navigational array out on the outside of the ship? Difficulty 1. You got any foci and sensors or anything like that? Not really. Inner workings might do, but we'll go with that.
Okay.
So, difficulty of 1.
Oh
2
dear.
successes, so well done, but there is a complication. Okay. So,
She's on spacewalk.
having a look.
He just broadcast the thoughts over the comms.
Having a look at the array, you do find several isolinear chips have been rearranged. And having been rearranged, they would most likely have caused the malfunction. And there's no way they could have rearranged themselves. Someone had to come out here and do it themselves. And with that knowledge, I jump us immediately to engineering, and I'm going to ask Bravo to give me an insight and security check with no focuses applicable. So, insight and security from Vibers, if I can, please. Davis.
I think he's gone away. He's on mute.
Okay, I'm going to do it for him. Oh no, he's got it selected.
Sorry, I'm here. Do I get any focus on that?
Nope, afraid not.
Okay.
2 successes. Since things are going so well, you turn around to try and see how Lieutenant Telek, the guy who accompanied from you the bridge, is doing. And when you turn around, you find he's not there. And we're going to leave it there for the night.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
The slow dawning. Oh,
All kinds of Romulans, it's all the same.
indeed.
Pointy ears.
I know why they're after this ship, and it has nothing to do with the crew. Or tech shit.
Double agent.
So,
Vector.
Stuff and things and stuff. Mysteries abound, but you're getting closer to solving it. Definitely up to something.
Does mean they're probably waiting for reinforcements then.
Now, who is here next week?
I'm
No.
not, I'm afraid.
So Gareth's not. Who else is not?
I'm potentially in Basinggrad.
Basingstoke, yeah.
That's the one.
Anybody else not here?
I think I'm here.
I think I'm here.
So it all comes down to whether or not Davis graces us with his presence. So be prepared. There might not be a game next week if we're missing too many people. So mystery will either be answered next week or we'll have to wait until the week after to answer it. Can we wait that long? Well, we'll have to find out, won't we? In the meantime, thank you everybody who tuned in to the stream for watching. I hope you all had a good time, and live long and prosper. Hailing frequencies closed.